Okay, I wanted you to see the sweater complete lying on my table. So here it is. This is the front side, or the other side can be the front if you like. It's completely reversible as promised. I decided not to do anything to the bottom of the sleeves because I like the way you can push them up when they're on the arm. So they're a little bit long, but when you push them up, they're perfect and cozy and comfy. So it's a little bit larger than a normal large, so it's squishy and comfortable. Now I'm going to reverse it and show you the other side. And as promised, 100% reversible. Here's the reverse side. So then if I open it up, you can see the other side. So it's completely reversible. Okay, so here's the finished cardigan with my modern basket weave design. And it is reversible. So I will walk around. And I decided not to do anything to the bottom of the sleeve because I wanted to be able to scrunch it up like that. So that's why I didn't do anything to the bottom of the sleeve. So that's complete. Here's what my back looks like with my different tone. It's a little big on her because she's a small mannequin, but it's about a size large, and it is reversible. So I'm going to reverse it and show you that. Okay, so now as you can see, I've reversed it to the other side. So it's completely reversible. This is the modern basket weave on the other side. I have to be careful what I show here because even though it's not real, YouTube thinks my model is naked. Okay? And then of course it's a cardigan, so you can pull it together. And it's totally reversible. And it's a lot of fun to make. It's very easy and quick. So enjoy. Needful Things again, please like and subscribe. Hello, welcome to Needful Things again. So we're going to start on our cardigan, which is made with the video that I put out the other day for my modern basket weave stitch. And so what we're going to be doing is we'll do 2 panels like this for the front. It's going to be sort of a larger, more comfy sweater, not tight fitting. So this is what we're going to do. This is the front. This is the back. So it'll be sort of almost reversible, perhaps. I don't know. You could use either side, but that is the back. So here's the front. So we'll do 2 panels like this. Of course, we'll have to do left and right to get our decreases. So I've already done this panel so you can see it. So I'll start the other panel with you. And then we will do 2 sleeve panels. This is one of the sleeves, which will be like this when it's done, and we'll do a ribbing on the bottom. And then we'll do a back panel, and we'll put them all together and assemble our garment. So we're going to start with this piece here. Now it's measuring about 10 inches. It's it does pull in. It will have some, and we'll have ribbing. So it's about 9.5, 10 inches. And about 23 inches long. And we'll do a ribbing on the bottom. So to start our pattern, we will take our yarn. I'm using a medium weight yarn. You can use Any medium weight yarn is a number 4. I'm using my Susan Bates size 9 or I hook. And so on our we'll do 2 front panels. We've already did that one. It'll be done exactly the same, except your decreases will just be on the opposite side of the panel. And so the count of the stitch is 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, plus 3, plus 3, plus 3, plus 3, plus 3, plus 1, if you want to make it a little bit bigger. So for this one, we're going to use 39 stitches. Plus 1, I believe it is. So that's 13. So you'll do 39 chains plus 1. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, and 39. So we have 39 chains plus 1. Put your finger on that last chain you just did. Yarn over, and in that first one where your finger is, in the back bump of that chain, no, we're not going through the chain, we're going in the back bumps. In the back bump. We'll do a half double crochet, 1. In the next bump, not the front of the stitch like normal here, we're going in this back bump. And we're going to do 3 half double crochets in a row, or consecutively, I guess. Now we have our 3 half double crochets. We're going to chain 3, yarn over, and all these are going to be all our half doubles will be worked in the back bumps of our chain. So we'll skip 3, 1, 2, 3. If you need to, you can look at the front. 1, 2, 3. There's our 4th one in that back bump. Half double crochet. Half double crochet in the next back bump. Half double crochet in the next back bump for 3 half double crochets. Sometimes if you had them a little too tight, you have to push it in there. And there we have, that's what we're doing. Okay, chain 3. Yarn over. Skip 3, 1, 2, 3, go into that 4th bump. Do your 3 half double crochets in a row. 1, 2, and 3 in the back bumps of the chain. Chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Skip 3. And do 3 half double crochets in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 3. Yarn over, skip 3. Do 3 half double crochets in these 3 stitches here. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 3. skip 3, three half double crochets in the back bumps, chain 3, skip 3, and you'll do the 3 half double crochets just like you've done to end your row. And this is what we've done. Okay, and it's hard, sometimes it's fussy to get them in those back bumps, but that's the way it has to be done to make this pattern look right. So you have to do that. It's very simple, and we're going to every piece of this pattern starts exactly the same way with this process, just like we just did. It's just wider or smaller, larger. So we'll have our 3 half double crochets to finish this row. And when you get to the last one, you stick it in that bump. And chain 1 and turn your work. Now we're working on the back side of your work, and if you need to, you'll be able to determine this is the front, but what I'm telling you this for, you might want to mark it like I did here, so you always know you're on the front, because when you're always working in back loops from now on, you're going to be working in the back loops when you get to the stitches. So we've chained 1. I'll show you what I mean. In the second row of this panel, we're going to go in this, we have the stitch here, the chain right here, it looks like a little chain stitch. But if you turn it up this way, you see there's the stitch. So we're going in the back loop of the stitch. 1 half double, 2 half doubles, and 3 half doubles. Right on top of those previous half doubles right there. Just like that. Chain 3. Go right into the back of the next 3, in the back loops only. We'll always be working in these back loops because we want to push that little ridge forward. Chain 3. Same thing here in the back loops. Your 3 half double crochets, they're already established for you from the previous row. This is quite fast work. Chain 3. Repeat half double crochets. Chain 3, 3 half double crochets, one, 2, 3 chains, 3 half double crochets above the 3 half doubles already there, 1, 2, and 3, making sure you're in the back loops until you get used to the pattern. You might want to do it a little slower so you don't miss the back loop, because you may do a whole row and turn around and be like, oh no, and have to rip it all out, because while creating the pattern, that happened to me several times. I just get going and not think about it. So we're doing our last 3 half double crochets in the back loops, and on this one we have this here, and the back loop, there's 2 there, but the top one is the one you're putting it in. Make sure you're in the right loop. Then you'll chain 1 and turn your work. Now we're on the back side of the work. Let me move this so you can see it more clear. We're on the back side of the work now. And when we're on the back side of the work, we're going to be working in these loops here. This one, and on this stitch here, it looks like you'd want to go in here, but you don't. You want to go in this stitch here, and you have to pull it up a little bit with your finger like that to get in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over, go in this first back loop, and do our half double crochet. Yarn over, go in this next back loop, and do a half double, yarn over, and the one I was telling you about that likes to hide, pull it up with your finger. Do your back loop, because if you do it in the other one, it won't be in line with the stitches. chain 3, go behind the next one, these 1, 2, and there's the one that hides. 1, 2, and there it is. So I push it up a little bit. The Susan Bates hook is wonderful for that. 1, 2, 3. And this is what we're doing here, and that's the back. So the back will always look like this, and we'll always be doing those back loops there, which they're really not back loops if you're looking at them, but if you're looking at the front, they are. So those are the loops we're going in, those right there, the 1, the 2, and the little hidden one there. And we'll do that all the way across. We're basically just doing the same thing we did on the front, but in the back. Three half doubles. One, 2, 3 chains, 3 half doubles, make sure you only catch one loop there, because sometimes you can catch the one below it as well, and that's not correct. Chain 3, three half doubles, and once you get that first and second row established, you just zoom in through, and you'll just work your way right up to where we have to do the start doing the decreases. Which is quite a bit, because that's the V-neck in the front of the sweater. It was kind of like a V. There's that little hidden stitch. I pull it with my little bit of a nail, just to get under the 1 stitch and not the 2. Chain 1 and turn your work. And here's where we are. And so this way you will continue in the pattern. We've just done, and you count 1, and there's 1 in between, that's 2, we're on 3, we're on the 4th row. And so we're going to do 34 rows. I think it is. We're going to do up to row 34. Okay, so you'll work up to 34, row 34. And your work will probably be about 16 inches in length when you get to row 34. Row 34 is way up here, by the way. It's way up here. The decreases are just a very small section here. So we have all these rows here. It's 34 rows, I believe. It's 34 rows, and your work will be about 16 inches, like I said. And then on row 35, we'll start the decreases, okay? This is row 35 up here, right here, I believe is row 35. And I think there were 12 decreases. I don't quite remember. There may be more, but it's not that many, because as you can see, we didn't decrease an awful lot there. I just needed to bring it in a little bit up there for what I was doing. So continue and do row 34 all the way up. We're on row 3. 1, 2, 3. So do 34 rows just straight up, back and forth, front and back, just like we just did here. You can rewind if you need to look at it again. And I'll meet back up with you when we get to row 35. And at row 35, that's where our decreases will begin. And they're very simple decreases, but it can be quite confusing to some people, because, you know, we're going to be decreasing with chains here, and we're not actually going to be putting stitches in all of them. So you'll see when we get there. So just keep doing your rows, and I'll meet back up with you when we get to row 35. Okay, so now we're working on our other panel to our front panels, our 2 front panels, and we've I want you to, I said stop at row 34, now do row 30, we're going to do one more row 35. So I've chained one to turn. Now I'm on my back side. This is row 35. Working in my back loops. Sorry about that. Working in my back loops. Chain 3. Half double. Crochet. 3 there. Pull up that little loop that tries to hide. Chain 3. And complete in pattern across row 35. And also make sure that you're doing those 3 chains in between, 3 chains in between your 3 half double crochets, because sometimes I zoom across a row and I realize, oh no, I didn't put any chains in between those. And I have to rip out the entire row. Because no one is perfect. They might think they are, but they're not. Okay, I've come to my last set of 3 half double crochets to get in a row. One after the next. That little stitch that likes to hide. Chain 1 and turn, and now I'm back on the front of my work. And as you know, we did these are the 2 front panels, so now we are here where we're going to start doing our decreases. And I had a, there it is, stitch marker, because I want to put that on row 35. So I'll know that's where I'm just going to put it over here so I'll know that's where my row 35 is. So I'll know that's where my, that's row 35 and that's where your decreases will start. So we're doing the same decreases on both sides. Let me get that out of the way. We're doing the same decreases on both of the sides, and this is where we are. Row 35, so except on this side you'll be doing them this way, whereas this one you do them that way, but it'll be the same type of decreases. So we're going to start our row 36 with my trusted counter. We're going to start row 36 with our decreases. And we're just going to start the row across. Like we normally would. 3 half double crochets in the back loops. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 3. And we're just going to go across our pattern, but stop when you get to the last 3 stitches. And when you get to your last 3 stitches, I'll show you our decrease. Because the decreases may seem strange to you, but trust the process, because it'll get you where you need to be. And because of the way this pattern is, I didn't want to end the decrease on one of the chain sections. It just wouldn't work for me later for what I'm going to do with the ribbing. Chain 3. Chain 3. Okay, so we're coming to the end here. I've got my chain 3. I'm going to do these 3 half double crochets in the back loops. We're on row 36. These will go really fast. Okay, now see here we have the chain 3 and the 3 half double crochets. We're going to do our decrease here. So we're going to chain 3, and we're going to go into the back loop of that first half double crochet, pull up a loop, go into the next half double crochet in the back loop, pull up a loop. Now you have 4 loops, yarn over, pull through all the loops. There's your decrease, do your last stitch in the back loop, and you decrease that 3 down to 2. Chain 1 and turn your work. And now we're going to be on 37. And since we're on the side, now if you need to, you can put a stitch marker here to know that that's the side you're decreasing on. Okay, but you can see you only have 2. So every row right now we're going to decrease. So the next row is 37. It's hard to show you on that one. So 37, and we're going to do the decrease. We're going to half double crochet, in the first back loop we're going to do a half double crochet. Ooh, tickle. Let me check something out here because I did something different here and I want to make sure I'm showing you what I did. Let's make sure. We're going to decrease it to 1. So right here we're just going to put, we're going to take this out. Sorry about that. I want you to yarn over, pull up a loop in the back, pull up a loop in the next half double crochet, pull it through. You've decreased to 1 half double, chain 3. Go to the next one, go all the way across and finish your row in the same pattern that we always use. Whoops, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about that. I got you going the wrong way. I forgot we were on the back side of our work. Sorry about that. Yarn over, we're going to go in the back loop here because we're on the back of our work. Pull up a loop. Then we're going to pull up one in that next little hidden loop. You got 4 on the loop, yarn over, pull through all 4. You've now got 1 half double crochet at the beginning of your row. Chain 3 and go across your row in the back loops because we're on the back side of our work, or it's kind of a reversible piece of fabric. So chain 3, do our 3 half double crochets. Sorry about that little blooper at the beginning of the row. I just wanted to make sure I did them both exactly the same because I didn't want you to have any difference and think I was insane. So continue across your row doing your half double crochets. And your chain 3s. This is a very cozy, comfortable sweater. It's not supposed to fit really tight or anything. It's about a size large, I would guess. And we're going to do a little something different on the sleeves as well. So we're now at the end of the row, doing our last 3 half double crochets in the back loops. That little hidden one there, she's a stubborn one. Whoop. Chain 1, turn your work. Now we're back on the front, but this side now is decreasing. Okay, so that was 35, 36, 37, we're on 38. Okay, here we are at row 38. And we're going to start our pattern because we're going to do our decrease on this side. So just start like you normally would until you get to these last few stitches. Stop right here and I'll show you how to do the decrease. Working in the back loops, so we're pushing that ridge forward. And I really think this is probably the most difficult part of this pattern, so everyone should be able to make this very well. Okay. Make sure you're in your back loops, pushing it forward. It's not very fun to get across an entire row and realize you forgot to put it in the right loop. And you gotta rip it all out, and trust me, I've done it. You know I've done it. Okay. Especially when, you know, designing something or creating a new garment. It's a lot of putting it in and pulling it out. Oh, that sounded terrible. You know what I mean. Ripping it out, I guess is a better word. Okay, so we're doing our last 3 half double crochets, coming up on our decrease area, almost. So we only have 1 stitch here, really. We have 3 chains there, so we're going to decrease one of these chains. Now here's how we're going to do that. We did our last half double crochet there, and then we're going to chain 2, and we're just going to skip one of the 3 chains and do our half double crochet in our back loop, and we've done a decrease. Okay, and now we're on row 39. So we're going to turn our work. We're going to chain 1, turn our work. Now we're working on the back side. On row 39, you have 2 chains and a half double crochet here. So we're going to work 1 chain. We did that, our turning chain. Now we're going to do a half double crochet in our, okay, we're on the back, so remember to do in the back loop. Half double crochet. Then we're going to we've got our half double crochet. We've got 2 loops here. We're just going to do 1 chain, and then we're going to go right into this, well, this back loop of this, the 3 half double crochet sections, and we've just decreased 1. Because the chains are actually counting as stitches in this pattern, so we have to decrease them, and that's the best way to do it, because I don't want you to be left with a chain space to have to try to do an edging on. That would just not be a pleasure. So you really have to trust the process. Okay, so we're decreasing by 1. We've only got 1 chain left in there now, and we're on row 39. So we'll just complete our row to the end like we normally would. And your piece should be going in sort of like a V shape. You can sort of manipulate it and make your stitches go in the right places. You know I like to pull it around. 1, 2, 3. Your half double crochets in the back loops. Then chain 3. Yarn over, have a sip of nice warm coffee. Half double crochet, half double crochet, half double crochet in that little hidden loop there. Chain 3, and 3 half double crochets to finish this row. was a killer. Chain 1 and turn your work. Now we're back on the front. Unless you're using the other side as your front. So we start our row 40. The same way we always do. We'll go back all the way across, working in pattern until we get to where we decrease. Over here in the pattern. And we'll have, this is the stitch. We have one chain. That's 2, 3, 4. So when you get to the last 4 stitches, I'll show you what we're going to do when we get there, okay? So just start your row, back loops, half double crochet, half double crochet in the back loop, chain 3, half double crochet in the back loops, 1, 2, 3, chain 3, half double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and complete until you get to the last 4 stitches. And then I'll show you what we're going to do there, okay? I'm sorry I forgot to turn off my air purifier. I hope it wasn't monstrous. I just realized it. Okay, I'm at my last 4 stitches. We're going to do a half double crochet, half double crochet in the next stitch, and these last 2, and we're just going to skip that chain and go ahead and go into this stitch here in our back loop and do a half double crochet. That's, now we have 3 half double crochets together there, turn and go. That's how we're going to do that, handle that situation. And so that was row 40, I believe. Let's make sure. 35. 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. So we're on row 41. This one is a very simple decrease on row 41. And since we're starting on our decrease side, we have 4 there. Actually, we have, what do we have there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have 1, 2, 3. So we're just going to start with a decrease there. Make sure we're matching up. Where are we? 35. Let's get everybody's together. Okay. I'm just making sure my decrease is where I want it. Yeah, okay. So now we're going to decrease here. We're working on, we don't have any chain space, we just have 1 stitch there. So 4 became 3. So now we're going to decrease here in the front. We're going to put, we're on the back. Oh no, look what I did. See that? That's a perfect time to show you what I meant. When you forget to go on the loop, you'll end up on the wrong side. Now we've got to pull that out because that's not in the right part of the stitch. That was a good example to show you that. You see, if you're not paying attention to where that's, it should have went there. Where's my loop? Okay, now we're back in the right place. Go decrease, turn, and there we are. Got that fixed. That was crazy. Okay, so we're going to go in the back loop, pull up a loop, go on the next one, pull up a loop. We've got 4 on the hook, pull it through. We just decreased. We finished 1. We now have 2 there. 2 half double crochets at the beginning. Chain 3. And complete your row in the pattern. And sometimes when I'm just blabbing my mouth, I'm getting the wrong row like I just did, so but it was a good thing to show you how that happens. Okay, so we're on 41. We finish this row. Chain 3. Three half double crochets. Chain 3. 3 half doubles. Chain 1, turn your work. We should be at row 42. And we are at row 42. And we will begin as usual on row 42 and do our decrease on this end. Making sure I'm in the back loops. You should be really good at making this stitch pattern by now. I like to call this the modern basket weave, and I think probably now you see why. Looks like a basket to me. So I'm at chain 3, work 3 half double crochets, chain 3. Let me make sure we're doing this. Okay, and now we've got our 3 half double crochets. You see 1, 2, 3. We're going to go into the, and we're working our back loops. Go into that one, pull it, work up a loop. Go into the last one in the back loop. Pull up a loop, pull it through all of them, and you have 1 stitch now. There. See? Yarn 1, yarn chain 1 and turn. Yarn 1, I don't even know what that would be. 43. We're on our decrease side still, so we're going to do another decrease on 43. We're going to do a half double crochet in that first stitch in this back loop right here. Half double crochet, and then we have the 3 chains, so we're going to do 2 chains and then go right into our half double crochets in the back loops. 3 of those, and chain 3, and continue across in your pattern. And our last 3 half double crochets on the end in our back loops and the stubborn loop. And be sure you don't get through too many, you only want 1 loop coming up there. So now we're turning our work, we're back on the front side. We'll start as usual on row 44, working in pattern across till we get to here, and we'll do a decrease here. And we're doing our, making sure I didn't do that again, back loops. We're on our front piece, front of the work I mean. And you'll do the decreases the same way on the other side when you make your other panel, your front section. You'll just do them on the opposite side of your fabric. Okay, we're coming up to our decrease. And let's look and see what we have here. We have a half double crochet and 2 chains right here on row 44. Is that what we're on, row 44? Yes. Row 44. So what we're going to do, we have 3 stitches left. We have a chain, a half double crochet. We have 2 chains there. So what we're going to do on this row is we're going to, we have 2 chains. We're going to chain 1. We did our last half double crochet right here, and we're going to chain. Can you see that? And we're going to chain 1, which is getting rid of one of those stitches, and then we're going to do our last half double crochet in the back loop there. Chain 1 and turn. And this is row 45, I believe. Let me see, row 45. So on row 45, we have a half double crochet. We had 2 chains there, now we just have 1. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a half double crochet in our first stitch in the back loop, like that. Then we're going to skip this chain space, skip the chain space, and just go right into your 3 half double crochets, because we're skipping the chain space, which is counting as our decrease. Although I need to put this in the back stitch again. I did it again. My little first half double goes in that back stitch, the one that likes to hide. Okay, now we're skipping the chain and going right into this one in the back loops, of course. And you'll have 4 half double crochets in a row there, chain 3, and finish this row in pattern, and you'll chain 1 and turn. I like to take a count every once in a while of what I'm doing. Make sure I've got the right amount of everything. So we're doing 3 half double crochets. 1, 2, and 3 in that little tight loop. 1, 2, 3. Finish your row with your half double crochets. 1, 2 and 3. Third one's always going to have that little stingy loop. Chain 1 and turn. Okay, tickles. Okay, so here's where we are now. We're on row 46. And we're going to be on the front side of the work at row 46. And we will begin as usual with our 3 half double crochets in the back loops. Chain 3. 3 half double crochets in the back loops. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 3. 3 half double crochets. Chain 3. 3 half double crochets. Chain 3. Okay, now we're here to our last stitches. And we're just going to decrease in the last 2 stitches. So we're going to do our back loop, half double crochet. Oops, sorry. 1, 2, and we have 2 left. Oh. And we're going to go in the back loop, pull up a loop, go in the back of the next one, pull up a loop, pull through all the loops, chain 1, and now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is what you should have. And that's row 46. Okay. And that's row 46. And guess what, kids? Your decreases are complete on this row. And so now we're just going to do from row 46, we're going to do 47, 48, 49, and 50. There is 50 rows in each panel, as you know. I think I told you in the beginning. Maybe I didn't, but I'm telling you now. There are 50 rows. And here's our decreases. When you get the other rows on there, they will pop right up there just like that. Boom, boom, boom. And I will meet you back here to end the rows. And look at our 2 panels and get you started on the next part. And the next part will be the back panels, which are quite simple, but you don't have to do any decreasing or any such thing like that. I like to pull my stitches. I just like them to look as best they can, you know. So we're on, that was 46, so do press 2 rows, 47, 48, 49, 50. Like 4 more rows, and I'll meet back up with you when you get your 4 rows done and your panel will be complete. You'll do your other panel, you'll do the decreases exactly the same way, except you'll reverse the side you're doing it on. This one's on this side, the other one will be on this side, as you see there. So they will match when you get done. Okay, I'll meet you back up when you get there. Okay, so I'm coming up on my row 50. You should be finishing on the front of your work on row 50. On the side where you did the decreases. Here's my last 3 half double crochets in the back loops, as you'll see here. Make sure we have the right amount of rows when you get done. And when you get to your row 50, let's see, 35, 36, 37, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. It's actually 51 rows. Sorry about that. It's 51 rows So in each panel it's 51 rows. And you'll finish on opposite sides of each other. So we're going to chain 1, turn our work for row 51. Sorry about that. I misnoted my pattern. So we're going to end this one on the back row with 51. Doing my half double crochets. And your back panel will have the same amount of rows. It's constructed the same way as these pieces are, starting at the bottom. I'll show you how to do that next. And I just like to make sure everything works together. There's it there. And this one is not stretched like the other one is yet, but just pull it a little bit. So they go there, and then we go there. And there we are. Just make sure we count our stitches. I've pulled this one, you know, getting those stitches to fall into place. The other one's been manipulated a little bit more. There's our two pieces. 51 rows, and there'll be 51 rows in the back. And let's count and make sure. You know I love to count. $51. And see how you have like the two rows all together here? On the last one you'll just have one row there like this. You see? We have our two rows together there. And then the one there. And so now we're at the end of this work. So we're just going to sometimes I leave a long piece to sew it together, but I'm going to sew it together with a separate piece. So just tie off your yarn after you get your 51 rows. And then when we come back, we'll work on our back panel, and you just have to stretch it, you know, make sure these stitches fall into place. When you pull them like this, and then they'll fall back into order. And as you do that, your piece will stay the way it is. I just hate steaming yarn. I hate that kind of thing. I don't like the way it looks. And these will fall right into place. They're just not used to where you put them yet. Get this yarn out of the way. Now to do the back section, to do your back section, you just are going to do 81 chains. There you are. 2 panels for our front are done. So we can set those aside for later assembly. And now we're going to do the back panels. So let's get our yarn and get ready. Okay, now here's my back panel. I've already started it. because you know how to start this now. And if you don't, you can go back to the beginning of the video and redo that and get a little refresher course. But I've already started the piece here. So like I said, you're going to do 81 chains plus 1. And then in the first chain from the hook that you're holding, before the plus 1, you're just going to go in and do the same thing. Start with 3 half doubles, 3 chains, 3 half doubles. And you're going to remember we're doing them in the beginning row. We do them in the back loops of the bumps of the chain so that they come forward like this here on the first row. And you're going to do 81 chains, which means you'll have 81 stitches plus 1. And you should end up with 81 stitches across here. And 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 of like these sections here. This middle part, 14 of those I think. And so you'll do that until you have 51 rows. There's no decreasing, no anything like that. It's very simple. I'm on the front, so I'm working in these back loops. Same exact pattern that we've always done, just a little bit of a larger piece because it is our back panel and I'm making a size large. It could be a medium if you're a little bit larger, but it is a size large, and it may be a little bit roomier than a regular because I want it to be a little more comfy and cozy. I like comfy, cozy sweaters. My favorite sweater is my big white one that I did. Now my boyfriend's sweater, I have a friend that covets that sweater and it's for sale. And she really wants me to give it to her, but I just can't do that. It's on my Etsy store and the pattern's there. It's not that difficult to make. It may look like it, but it's not. And I can't remember, but I believe I did that one in Tunisian crochet. The pattern is for sale on Etsy if anybody wants to try it. It's called the Oversized Boyfriend Sweater. Someday I'll probably give it to her. So this is what we're going to do for 51 rows because you know the front panel has to match the back panel. And so you'll just work on your back piece until you get your 51 rows. And then I'll meet back up with you here. And guess what we're going to make then? Oh yes. We're going to be doing some more decreases. And we're going to be working on 2 sleeves. We're going to have to crochet 2 sleeves. It's not that difficult at all. You just have to really pay attention with the decreases on the sleeves, of course, just like the front. The decreases are not as simple as just straight stitch decreases because, like I said, I'm working with those chains and I don't ever want to leave a chain like at the end, you know. So you do your back panel at 51 rows. And I'll meet you back up here when you get done with that. 51 rows. And then we'll get to work on our sleeve. And it's not as many decreases on the sleeve, so I think you'll be a lot happier with that. They are the same type of decreases, they're just not as and there's not, I don't think there's as many decreases. I don't remember, there might be, but there could not be, so we'll see. So I'll meet back up with you here when you get your 51 rows, and we'll have our back panel done, and then we'll get busy on 2 sleeves, okay? Hello everyone, so we're back again with our back panel. I decided to do, I was going to do my edging, whatever it may be, in the this color. So I decided to make my back panel in that color and the front panels in my lighter color because I like to do things a little quirky when I do designs. So we have to work 51 rows in our back section. I'm coming up on my last few stitches of my 51 row. So I'm doing my 3 chains, 3 half double crochets in the back loop, 1, 2, and 3, chain 3, 3 half double crochets in the back loop, chain 3, my last 3 half double crochets in this row, in the back loops, and now we'll just cut our yarn, leaving a tail to weave in later, and that's the back piece. So now we have our back piece done. We have 2 front pieces here, and so now we've got these pieces done, 2 front panels and the back panel. So I'm going to put those to the side. Now we're going to make a sleeve, okay? So the sleeve is not very difficult at all. Of course, it starts the same as all our other patterns do, all our other panels. And on our sleeve pattern, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I think that's 19. Let's see. Okay, so for our sleeve to start our row, we're going to do 57 chains plus 1, so you'll end up with 57 stitches across this row. And on the first 10 rows, we're just going to work in our pattern for the first 10 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And on row 11, we'll start our decreases, and I'll show you what those are when we get there. So let's just start our sleeve. Of course, my sleeves are going to be in the lighter color, so the only part I'm doing in the darker purple, or whatever that color is called, is just the back, and I'll do the edging around the bottom of my sleeve and around, you know, my edging for my body parts. So I'll make my chain. We're going to do 57 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, and 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57. I'll pinch my fingers on 57, do one more chain, yarn over, go in the back bumps, do my first 3 half double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. And I know a lot of times people say, I'm doing it in the back bump, but you don't have to. Well, you have to. You got to do that with this pattern. You have to do it in the back bump, as heinous as it may be. Chain 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, go into the next bump, back bump of the chain, do our 3 half doubles, 1, 2, and 3, chain 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, go into the 4th back bump there, Do your 3 half doubles. And we're going to do this all the way across the row in the same pattern we've been doing for all the other pieces. And you're going to complete this across the row just like we've done before, as you can see here. And you'll just go all the way across until you finish and chain 1 and turn and complete the row. We'll do 10 rows. There are no decreases, just do 10 straight rows back and forth till you reach row 10. When you get to row 11, stop there and I will come back, and that's where we will do our decreases. There are not a lot of crazy decreases. It will happen very quickly, even though it may be frustrating because we're facing the same thing here that we did on our front panels, where, you know, I don't want to have this open space end up here. So the decreases have to be done a certain way. And they'll be done on both sleeves the same way. So once you do one, you'll just do the same on the other one. Okay? So you keep working with your sleeve to do the first 10 rows, and I'll catch up with you at row 11. Okay? Okay, so I'm at my first 10 rows. I've put a marker in so I'll know that's where my decreases began. As you can see, I've done the same thing with this piece. And I'll also put one when I finish my decreases. So we're going to start our decreases on row 11. And we'll decrease 1 stitch on each side, just like we've done previously with other sections. So we'll yarn over. We're working on the front, so we're going in our back loops. First half double crochet, and then we have 2 half doubles. We're going to go in the back loop, pick up our loop. Then we're going to go in the next back loop of the next one, pick up a loop, yarn over and pull it through all the loops. We've decreased from 3 to 2. Chain 3 and continue in pattern across the row. Okay, and I'll meet you at the end of this row and show you the decrease on that side. Okay, so I'm at the end of my row, and the decrease on this side will be the same as the other end. We did our 3 chains. We have 3 half doubles. We'll do a half double in the first one in the back loop. I'm sorry, excuse me. We will not do that. We're going to decrease these 2, so we'll pull up a loop, go into the next one, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all, and then we have 1 half double left in the back loop. Boom, just like that. Chain 1 and turn your work. That was row 11. Okay, so now we're on row 12. And we're going to do our half double crochet. We have 2. We're in the back loop. 1 and 2. Just like that. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. I misled you again. I'm trying to be so perfect. I need to just not try to be so perfect. Okay, so we're going to do our decrease. We have 2 half doubles. We're going to go in the first, the back loop there, pull up a loop, go in the next one, pull up a loop. Now you're down to 1 half double crochet. Let me make sure that's correct. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Chain 3. And we'll go into our next set of half doubles in the back loops. Boom. And we'll work in pattern across the row. And of course it's sleeves, so you're going to have to make 2 of these. Exactly the same. Okay, I'm coming to the last 3 stitches. I have 2, so I'm going to go into that one. Where are we? In the back loop here. So we have our 2 on the end, and we're just going to make them into 1. Then we'll go into the last one, pull up that loop, and yarn over and pull it through. Boom. Chain 1 and turn. And now we have 1 here and 1 here. So that's row 10, row 11, and row 12. And now we are on row 13. And that is, let's see, this was 10, 11, 12, 13. Here we're going to get rid of one of the chains because I don't want to lose the, we're right, where are we? We're here. So we're going to get rid of one of the chains because I don't want to lose the half double on the end. Okay, so we're going to do a half double on the first one. Now we're working on the front, so we have to be going in the back loop. Okay, we have a chain 3 here, so we're just going to chain 2 and go into our next set of half doubles in our back loops and work in pattern across the row. And you can also go into the settings on the video if you need to slow it down. That works really well for you sometimes if you're learning something new. I'm sure you're probably aware you can do that. Sometimes it's just to remind someone. And I really appreciate everyone who is subscribing. It really does help get me to my goals. And please like and share the video. I really appreciate it. Thank you all so much. I hope you're having fun making and creating. And by no means am I perfection, so I like to have a little creative license. Now we're at the 3 chain stitches here, so we're just going to do 2, 1, 2. That counts as a decrease. Getting that right stitch. I was about to put it in the wrong one. And that's the end of that row. Chain 1 and turn. That was row 13, I believe. So now we're on row 14 of our sleeve. And we've got to do our half double crochet because we want to keep a solid edge there. So this time we're in our back loops. That one that likes to hide, unfortunately, is the one that's still there. And do our half double crochet. Now we have 2 chains, but we're only going to do 1 chain and then go right into the back loops of our next set of half double crochets. And that's our decrease for this row. And you'll do the same on the other side. Wow, who's coming to visit? So if you're struggling with it on that end, I'm going to be doing it again in just a second on the other end. But we have to remember that those chains in between they're not just hanging out as chains, they are stitches, and they do count. Okay, oh no, the lawn people are coming. I hope that doesn't like get really loud. Chain 3, 3 half double crochets, chain 3, two and 3, 1, 2, 3. You'll sure know how to count to 3 by the time you finish this. Okay, chain 3, 3 half double crochets, 1, 2 and 3. Now we have 2 chains there, which we are going to make into 1. We will chain 1 and finish our last stitch, working in our little hidden loop, back loop. Chain 1 and turn. Here's where we are so far. So we're on row 15 now. And we're going to do our half double crochet at the beginning. We're going to do our half double crochet. Oh, let's find that little hidden back loop. Where are you? Come on. Okay, we have half double crochet. We have 1 chain left, so we're just skipping over it, going right into here. And you're going to end up with what looks like 4 half double crochets right beside one another, which is fine. That's the plan. Okay. Now we're going to chain 3 and work in pattern. Oops, look at me. I put them all in the wrong. See, you get going and you just forget where you're going. They should have been in the back loops. And the first one should have as well, so let me take that out. I'm sorry about that. So we're going in here to do our half double, skip over that chain, go in here, half double, half double. Sorry about that little mess up. And you have, it looks like you, well, you do have 4 half doubles together there. That's the fine thing. 1, 2, 3. And just work in pattern across this row as you're doing. And if you have any questions for anything, you can feel free to leave it in the comments. I do read the comments. I try to respond. I don't respond if they're ugly comments, but I've never had any ugly comments, so I'm grateful for that. You know, I like to do that little stretch it out thing. Okay, we're doing our half double crochets, 1, 2, and we're in the third one here. And we have our 1 chain, which we're going to, ooh, look at that fuzzy. cut her off. We have our one chain and a half double crochet left. We're just going to skip over that chain like it doesn't exist. Go in our back loop, do a half double crochet, chain one and turn. And here's where we are now. We're on row 16. And row 16, you'll be very happy to know, is our last row of decreases. Okay? And you can put your stitch marker in there to show that, because it'll help you count later. I'll just put it in the first half double crochet right there to let me know that's where this won't, that's where my last row is. So when I do the down to 3, which is what we're getting ready to do, that's where I will put my stitch marker, so that when I sew it together, it'll just be easy to match it up. So we're going to do our half double crochet, pull up a loop, go into the next one, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. That's 1. Now we have 2 half double crochets left in the back loops. Chain 3, go into the next half double, half double crochet, and we've done, there's our decrease, 2, 3 stitches. I'm going to put my marker in there because I know there's only 3 stitches there now, and that will be our last decrease, and that should be row 16. Chain 3, back loops, half double crochets, chain 3, half double crochets, I'm just crocheting really quickly here because I just don't want to slow down the film or speed it up or anything like that. I'm doing this in real time. So you can see that I also can make a mistake and have to redo something. It's perfectly natural. There's no reason to panic. I used to, but I don't anymore. So we're at the end of the row. A half double crochet. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I just did the first one. Here's the second one. And the 2 on the end, we're going to go in there. The third one, pull up a loop, go on the one on the very end, pull up our little hidden loop right there. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all. We now have 3 there. That is row 16, I think. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, row 16. Our increases are complete on row 16. So from row 17 to 50, we're going to do 50 rows in the sleeves. I'm talking a little louder. I'm sorry, but the lawnmower man just rolled across the yard. So we're going to do 50 rows in here, and we're on row 16. And now we went from 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sections across to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's the only decrease and the final decrease of the sweater. And so continue that until you have 50 rows, and I'll meet back up with you then, and we will assemble our garment. Isn't that exciting? I think so. Okay, so here we are. At this point now you should have your 2 sleeves made and completed, and you should have your 2 panels for the front. And what I've done here is I've sewn one of my front panels together to the back. I just put them face down and then just sewed the seam across to try to make it as seamless as possible because I want this to be reversible. So what I've done here is I've just gone through with the stitch markers and just kind of got it as best I could, like each section of 2, to get mostly, you know, lined up with those lines. So I've just done that. There's 10 at the top of the sleeve. There's 10 of these like solid sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so I've just divided it into 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these sections like that, the more solid section. And that's where that middle section is. And then they start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on that side. And I've just pinned them at those marks so that I don't lose my place. And then I will just take my darning needle and sew them together, just like I would anything else, really, I guess. Let me get some yarn. So I'm not going to make you sit and watch this whole boring sew together part. But I just wanted you to see how I was using my stitch markers to keep my sleeves in place where I want them to be, so that when you turn it over it looks really good. So I'm just going to go up into this first stitch where I've had my marker before. I'm just going to pull my yarn through. And oddly enough, I'm going to leave a bit to sew in. Not too much. And I'm just going to tie it right there. Tie the 2 sides together. And so there's my first stitch marker, and I'm going to take that out. And I'm just going to try to work in the back loop, you know, like here's the loop. I'm just going to try to get in that back loop every time on both sides. And you know, you've got 3 stitches in each one, so try to hit each 3 stitches. That'll keep you in line. Or, I mean, you could, I have seen in fashion where they just have a big old seam, you know. I just want this to be more invisible so that I can really use it as reversible. So we're going in that back one. We're in the 3 stitches in the middle. And there's really no perfect way, but I'm just showing you how I'm doing it so that I have as little as possible poking through at me. Because like I keep telling you, I do want this to be reversible. I'm at my next stitch marker. And we're going to go into that first stitch, go in the back on that side. And as you'll notice, I have my right sides together. I'm sewing this together from the front, not the back. Or, yeah, I guess you could call it the back right now. And hoping that I'm going to get a nice reversible look from it. So, but you can sew a big old thick seam if you want to, or you can crochet it together, whatever you want to do. And still it will be just fine, and you can still wear it reversible if you wanted to. As long as your stitches are matching up. There should, I mean, you can do whatever you want. It's your sweater, but, you know. Let's see how nice that looks there. And it's good and tight. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere. You don't have to worry about that. And once the rest of the structure gets put in, okay, so we're just going to continue. I'm at my next stitch marker. mean, you could crochet it together if you wanted to and do slip stitches, but I actually love sewing. I really do like sewing. I'd like to do more of it, but I just don't. Okay, now I'm coming up to this part here where the shoulder seam is, and that's our 5. It's going to hit there. So you'll just keep going up the ladder of success. Okay. And you'll just keep going all the way across to the end, and then just cut your yarn, leave you a piece to sew in later, and I'll come back to you and show you how to do the side panels. Okay, so I've sewn the sleeve onto the one side to show you how that's going to look. It's going to look like this, and I've just left strings to tie. I just tie a little knot and then I seam them in. Sew them in, I mean, sorry. I still have my stitch markers so I can see where my increases were in my first 10 rows, so I can match those up later. So here's what it looks like from the other side, so you see you can wear it reversible because the way I sew them together. Isn't that nice? So it's like 2 in 1. So now I'm going to show you how I did the front panel to sew it to the back. Of course, we're just going to put the 2 sides together. And there's my front panel. And here's my other sleeve that I made with my, I believe it was 50 rows. So I've got both of my sleeves done. Now here's my other front panel. Need a big table or a wider camera rig. I wonder if I could make this bigger. Let's see. So here's my front panel, and I've sewn it to the back. And this is the, we're going to put this one on just like that, right beside it. There goes the tape measure. So we'll have our V in the front, and we're going to sew them together like this. To the back. That's the sleeve. And that's the other side already sewn in there. So I'm going to have my sides together, my right sides together. I mean, facing out, where normally you do it the other way. And I'm just going to stitch it together just like you watched me do the sleeve. Same exact way. Here's my 2 sides. Give everything a little squish, a little smoosh, a little push. Help everything find its place. So you can see what you're doing. There's my end, I was going to say my end rope. There's my end chain. Okay, so I'm going to take my stitch markers yet again. These are my stitch markers for increases, and you know the drill. So, got some stitch markers here. And we're just going to start in the first stitch. We have 3 half double crochets here. 3 over here, and I put it in the first one. Then we have these three. This one's easy. The shoulder's much easier because, you know, it's all going the same way, whereas we were going against the grain, so to speak. Go into the next set of 3 half doubles and just put it in the first 2 stitches. And I just put it in the solid rows of half doubles because it's just easier to see them. And just hook those all up, and I just do it in the first stitch. A half double on each side there, and I just pop it right through there. It's just easier to do that. Where she be? Make sure you get it in the right one, because sometimes I want to put it in the chain stitch, and that's not where it goes, because you want your piece to stay. You know, because it's also this reversible thing. It's part of fooling the eye, really, as to what you're seeing. So is that my third one? That is not my third one. And neither is that. Where's my first one? And then my third one. Then my third on that side. This little thing don't want to stay shut. I want one that shuts down. On that side, and we're just going to do the same thing. We're just going to take our yarn, and I'm going to have to get a larger piece. So that little scrap will be going in my memory blanket. I don't throw it out. Everything goes in the memory blanket if I can't use it for something else. I've got a fun design coming out with that plush yarn, I guess it's called, blanket yarn. That's going to be really fun, and it has nothing to do with chickens or animals or anything like that. Or teddy bears. Not that I don't love teddy bears, but don't want to make them. So we're just going to do the same things we did before. Pull up through my first stitches in the same, you know, the loops in the back, sort of. Give it a little knot there. Take this marker out. Go into that back loop of your second stitch. Actually, I'm going to do my first stitch. Where's that loop? Where'd she be? Boop. Pull that tail out. Don't let it get in the way. Go into the next one. That back loop. Pull it through. Okay, go into the, now we're in the chain 3 spaces, so we'll just go in the back loops of each one of those. You could go in the back bumps if you feel so inclined. I do not. There's no need for it. Because we want to hit every stitch. That's why I like to do this with a darning, you know, needle, because I can see exactly where I'm putting these stitches. Here's my next marker. So we're to our 3 half doubles. Find the back loop of them. And that's what we're going to do all the way across, just to sew on our front. 1, 2, 3. Here's our 3 chain stitches. 2. 3. Now we're to our stitch marker, find the back loops of our half double crochets. Sometimes you have to pick it up and get under there. Now we're to our chain stitches. Oops, got caught. She got caught. She was a bad girl. She got caught. Oop. Got this marker. Now we're to our, pick it up and get that back loop. Second half double crochet. And the third. Now we're back to the chain stitches. 1. Whoops, it's not where we want it. And the back loop. Last chain stitch. Pick out my marker. Now we're in our half double crochet, find the back loops. The second one. There's the third one, there's the second one. Okay. I'm just going to cut this yarn, give it some to weave in later. And give this a little tie. Not too tight. Because you're going to need to be able to get in there in that space later when we do the edging. And just leave that be. Sew your other side to the back, just like we just did this one. And you'll have your two fronts sewn together. Like so. And then we're almost to the finish line. So we have our sleeves sewn on already. our drop sleeve, which is going to be this sweater's a large, but I've designed it to be a little oversized so it's more comfy and squishy and cozy. Okay, so hold on a second, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, so here's what it looks like so far. And we're going to continue working and sew on your other sleeve to the back. And I'll meet back up with you and we can sew it together. Okay, so I'm going to show you now. I've got my shoulders are done. My sleeves are sewn in. So now we're going to sew up the sides and down the sleeve. And so I've just taken stitch markers and I'm using the sections where the chain stitches are, and I'm making sure they're the same on the other side. And get them as close as you can. I like perfection, so I drive myself crazy with it. And that's what I've done all the way down the side through the armpit. And I just line them up on both sides, the chain rows. That was easiest for me to see that. And so I'm going to start sewing them together with my darning needle. And just try to keep them as close together. I'm going to do it like this. And I'm just going to start with my sleeve and work my way down. That way I can see the chain rows. So, I've got my darning needle and my ball of yarn. And I'm just going to show you how I get started. You can sew yours differently if you want to. I just want to be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to go in the first one on both sides, just like I always do. And I left that string from before. So I'm going to do this the same way. Now I'm going to take out this marker and just put it up here. No reason for that, only because I just ran out of markers because I've got markers on so many things. So now I'm just going to tie this on. Just like that. And I'll work those ends in later. And I'm going to do the same thing I did on, connecting the panels and the sleeves. Just pick up one loop on each side. Trying to get the back ones, or trying to make it connect as well as possible so that you can wear it reversible. I put my hand under there just to make sure I'm not, it's not my goal to sew it to the other side. And if you find this is like too nutty for you, then you can do it the other way if it makes it easier. Just sew it up or crochet it or whatever you want to do. You can do slip stitches. But like I said, I want mine to, I know it's going to be reversible. So that's why I'm doing it this way. And it's pretty easy to match it because you have the chain rows. So it shouldn't be too difficult. And if you want to start at the other end, you can do that. That way, by the time you get to the sleeve, you'll have a lot more space, but it's going to be harder to work that way, I think. It's a lot easier to work this way. Well, it is for me. I'm sorry, I forgot to turn off my air filter, so if you're hearing something that sounds like I'm caught in a twister, I'm not. It's my air filter, and I forgot to turn it off when I sat down to show you what I was doing. So we're just going to continue to sew it up, you see, right up the side. We're going to go up the side, the armhole, and then down the side, and do the same thing on the other side, and I'll meet you back up when you get your garment all sewn together. And then we'll work on the edging. Okay, so now we've got all our parts assembled together. Here's what I have. You should have the same thing. We've got our two front panels, our two sleeves, front to back. Mine's a different color because I wanted to do that way. You didn't have to. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go around and start our ribbing. And so to do that, I'm going to use my deeper color that I used on the back. And so we're just going to pick up on the bottom of the sweater. Mine is upside down. So the neck is up in my lap, basically. So I'm at the bottom of my sweater. I'm just going to attach my yarn. Make a loop. I've got it, there's 3 half doubles. And I'm just going to go through the first one, make a chain, then go back in the same stitch, do a single crochet, 1. And this time I'm going through the entire stitch, not the front loop or the back loop, the whole stitch. And I'm just doing single crochets. And I'm also pulling in that extra yarn right there. So I'm going to take that out because I want to grab that yarn actually. So I'm going to grab both of those tails and just do them at the same time. So we're just going to go around the whole outside of the sweater. And in every stitch, do a single crochet. You know you've got 3 half doubles. Then you've got the 3 chains. 1, 2, and 3. And we'll just go around the bottom like that, around the whole entire edge of your piece. Those little tails. And what we're doing is we're just making a little foundation row for our ribbing or edging or whatever you want to call it. Adding a little structure. And now you don't have to sew those tails in at the end because we've already taken care of them. And so we're just going to go around and do that, and we're going to do the single crochet around the edging, go around that side, come up this side, go around the neck, come back down, and close off here. Okay? So that's all we're going to do right now. It's just all the way around the entire piece on the edge. All through here, down the neck and around with our single crochet. Okay? Okay, so as you can see, I've been all the way around my edging and I've done my single crochet. This is the front part. All the way around the bottom. We'll do the sleeve part later. So now that we are back at the beginning of where we started on the bottom, we're just going to work across the bottom right now. So we're going to do the edging on the bottom, or the ribbing I guess you could call it, just across the bottom, separate from the front. We'll do that next. So what we're going to do now is, it's a very simple ribbing that I've chosen so it can be reversible, because that's what I'm aiming for. So here I am at my corner, and I'm just going to chain one. And that first stitch is right here. I'm going to do a double crochet. Well, let me show you there. Okay, I just finished right here. There's a stitch. But I put it on the very first stitch that we started. So I'm using that post. And I'm going to go under that post of the first stitch and do a front post double crochet. Then I'm going to go under the next one and do a back post double crochet. Then I'm going to go under the next one, do a front post. Then I'm going to do a back post. Then I'm going to do a front post. Now that's why it's nice to have all those single crochets, because it's just easier to pick them up. And so that's what we're going to do all the way across the bottom. Front post, back post, alternating. Double crochets around the post of the previous row of singles. It's just back, front, back, front, back, front. That's all it is. Whoops. And they're double crochets. Front post. Back post. Front post. Back post double crochet. Front post double crochet. And we're just going to do that in every one of your single stitches that you have across the bottom. And then when you get to the other corner, chain one, turn your work back the other way. And I'm going to do about 3 inches of that on the bottom. So about that long, about to there. Is how far I'm going to do it. I'm going to do 3 inches of it. So just do it until you have 3 inches. And then we'll tie off on the end, and that part will be done on the bottom. And I'll come back and show you what it looks like. So just keep doing that across the bottom. Just my front, back post double crochet, front post double crochet, back post double crochet, front post double crochet, back post double crochet, front post double crochet. And so we're going to do that until you have about 3 inches this way. Okay, so let me just make sure I show you that again. So our ribbing starts there. I'm measuring from the single crochet until we have 3 inches. Okay, so you complete that, and I'll meet you back when you have that ribbing done on the bottom. Okay, so I've completed my first row across, as you can see, and I just chained one and turned, and then I went right into that first back post double crochet. You crochet whatever you see. Like right here is the front post. We're going to do a front post, double crochet. Next is a back post, do a back post, front post. The next one's a back post, so we'll do a back post, Next one's the front post, so we'll just do another front post. And that's what we're going to do all the way across, just like that. So we can reverse it. It'll be the same on both sides, which will serve us well for our reversible cardigan. Okay? So just keep doing that back and forth, back and forth. Whatever stitch you see, that's what you do. Front, back, flip it over, and you're going to do the same thing down the other side, doing what you see. And do about 3 inches of that, I think. And then that bottom ribbing will be done, and we'll work on the other ribbing. Okay, so I'm coming to the end of my rows here for my ribbing on the bottom edge of the sweater, cardigan. So I'm just going to cut the yarn, pull it through. I'll swing it in later with a darning needle. And then after this, we're going to continue. I'll show you what mine looks like. So we've now done the bottom. Down here. Okay. Back. The inside, you see, so it's reversible this way. Our ribbing will be reversible. So now what we're going to work on is doing our front section around the neck. We'll go up, of course, and around the neck and around the collar, like that. Okay. And I'm going to start on this side, which facing me is my left side down at the bottom. I'll just do my now here I'm just going to pick up in that very last stitch that I did, that very first one there, and just put on a stitch. And I'm going to crochet this in, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a double crochet there, just like that to get started. And then just go, you know, right up the edge this way, around the neck and back down to the other side. And this I did 6 rows on the bottom, so I might do 5 on this part or less, we'll see. Bottom is, it's about almost 3 inches. So I'll probably do the same thing here. I'm going to check at 5 and see if I like it. If not, I'll do 6 rows around this part. And you can also put buttonholes in at this point if you wanted to. You don't have to. You could just push it through the stitches if you wanted to do buttons. I'm not going to be doing buttons. So do your ribbing up and around your neck, and then we'll get to the sleeves, okay? Okay, so I've just turned the corner, and I did, let's see if I can get this. I did the front, I did the first row around the front with just a row of double crochets all the way around the neckline, as you can see, all the way down the other side. And then when I got down to the end, I just did a chain 1 and turned, and then the first stitch I put a double crochet in the first stitch. And then front post, back post, front post, back post, front post, back post, just like we did on the bottom. And I'm going to do 5 rows like that. I think it's going to be 5 rows. Could be 6, but I'll let you know. So I'm on the second one now. This is front post. Back post. Front post. Back post, front post, back post. Okay, so I'm just going up just like we did on the bottom. And this will start to come together once we get going on it. It won't be so spacey. Okay, so continue that all the way around your front panels until you have at least 5 rows. I may do 6, I'll let you know. Okay, and I'll meet back up with you. Okay, so here's the finished cardigan with my modern basket weave design. And it is reversible. So I will walk around. And I decided not to do anything to the bottom of the sleeve, because I wanted to be able to scrunch it up like that. So that's why I didn't do anything to the bottom of the sleeve. So that's complete. Here's what my back looks like with my different tone. It's a little big on her because she's a small mannequin, but it's about a size large. And it is reversible. So I'm going to reverse it and show you that. Okay, so now as you can see, I've reversed it to the other side. So it's completely reversible. This is the modern basket weave on the other side. I have to be careful what I show here, because even though it's not real, YouTube thinks my model is naked. Okay? And then of course it's a cardigan, so you can pull it together. And it's totally reversible. And it's a lot of fun to make. It's very easy and quick. So enjoy. Needful Things again. Please like and subscribe.